Here we are! Merlot's guided tour was non-stop all day, and we returned to his home shortly before nightfall. It's not my own home, but I'm still relieved. I closed the door and looked around. Oh, is Rylith not home yet?
Yeah, today she has to work all the way through.
I see. That sounds rough. She went out in the morning. Either the place is doing really well or they don't have enough people. Merlot was bustling around the room. He dragged a chair over to the cupboard, trying to reach something higher up. I'll get it for you. What do you need? Merlot pointed to a small bottle. I stood on tiptoe to reach it.
Thanks, miss.
He put the bottle on the table and headed for the stove. Oh, you're making food. I'll help.
Don't worry, I'm used to it.
But...
Don't worry about it. Sit down.
Okay. He wasn't bragging. Merlot really knew what he was doing as he deftly prepared our food. In the end, it was just bread, pickled fruit, and water, but combined together it made for a proper meal. I always left everything to the servants. It would have taken me ages to get this done. I was wondering about that. I'm like, do you know how to cook, girl? All I could do was say thank you before we settled in to eat. I suppose I'm here with him and he's not on his own, but... Merlot, do you often have to eat alone?
Yeah, whenever Mom has to work.
He didn't seem visibly sad or upset at that. It must have been normal for him. I see. That's incredible.
Incredible? Why?
Before I was alone down here, I always ate with my parents. I just think it's incredible that you can do this even though you're so young.
I don't know. I guess it's nice that I can do something.
Merlot smiled happily. Rylith said yesterday that his father disappeared. I wanted to ask him about his father, but it seemed a cruel question. What else could I ask? Does Rylith always work until late?
Not always, but most of the time, I suppose. It's busier at night, she says.
Merlot bit the corner off his stiff slice of bread and mumbled that night was when people drank.
I don't know where she works. She said alcohol is for adults, so I'm not allowed to come. So I watch the house while she's gone.
I see. That's impressive. Eating alone. I don't think I could have done it as a child. The thought of being alone never even occurred to me. It seemed likely that Merlot had been living like this since he was born. Pitying him for it would have been insulting in its own way. I had a truly blessed childhood, didn't I? I thanked my parents for everything and listened to more that Merlot had to say as we ate. Such a pure being. After dinner, Merlot fell asleep almost immediately, as I expected he would. But I tossed and turned, unable to do the same myself. I managed it a lot faster last night. I wondered if I'd slept in too late. Maybe I was having more trouble physically adjusting than I'd realized. A breath of fresh air might help. I crept out of bed as quietly as I could so that I wouldn't wake Merlot. I don't want to walk around unarmed. Isn't there anything, just in case? A frying pan is a great weapon. I looked around. I was unsurprised, but disappointed to see that there was nothing remotely like a sword. The kitchen knife. Maybe that's a little dangerous. My eyes fell on a sturdy stick near the door. I picked it up. It was almost as long as my arm and well polished. This should come in handy if I need it. I held it loosely in my left hand, ready to grab and brandish it with my right if needed. Then I set off from the house. Don't you be out here, Socks. I breathed in the night air. Unused to it, I noticed the damp and slightly rotten smell as I drew it into my lungs. I'll get used to it. I had to get used to it. I didn't want it to bother me forever. Whether I was going to go back to the heights or not, for a time I would be living in the depths. I walked quietly. I was being especially careful because I'd been told how dangerous it was, so I was trying to remain in the shadows and move slowly. The road was narrow and difficult. It was easy to get lost among the side paths, but Merlot had done a good job showing me around, and I had a rough idea where I was. The main road is over there, and the market is... Please, no more. I knew that voice. I strained my ears. It was, without a doubt, Rylith's voice. I moved towards the voices from shadow to shadow. This has to be enough. Please, let me go.
The hell's wrong? Come on, just a little more.
No, I have to go home. Ah!
Shut up! Do as I say!
Rylith! The man had pulled her close to himself. I have to help her. I snuck up on them.
I'm treating you real well. That's what you give me. Maybe I need to punch some Ow!
I placed myself between Rylith and the man and raised my stick at him.
What the hell are you doing?
I should be asking you, you lowlife. Don't worry, leave this to me. The man was carrying a sword, but he was obviously dead drunk. I was confident that if it came down to it, I would easily win. Next time, I will hit you properly. If you don't want to get hurt, then leave.
Fine. Whatever. Stupid killjoy.
The man glared at me and Rylith before he disappeared into the darkness. When the stink of liquor finally wafted to me, I almost threw up. What an unpleasant drunk. At least he left without putting up a fight. I turned around towards Rylith. Are you okay? Yes, well... She doesn't seem all that pleased. Is something wrong? Are you hurt? No, that's not the problem. I'm glad you protected me, but he's my best customer. Customer? Yes. He often chooses me at the place where I work. It's easier to do my job when you're young and beautiful. There aren't many that choose someone as old as me. I was wondering if that's the kind of work you were in. Choose? You're not a waitress? Waitress? Oh, you were talking to him. No, I'm not a waitress. I sell myself. Yourself? Yes, for the men who don't have a wife or a partner. And they pay me. Man, she's more and more like Fantine from Les Miserables the more I get to learn about her. Oy. Thought I had those vibes from her. But... So the man just now... Yes, he's a regular customer. He can be violent sometimes, but he pays on time. I like him. I see. I didn't regret stopping the man from hurting her, but it may well have given her more trouble in the long run. What if this means she won't have as much money now? I'm sorry, I shouldn't have... Perhaps it would have been better to ignore it. You did that to protect me, right? I really appreciate the thought. She must have known what I was thinking. Her voice was soft and comforting. But don't do that again, okay? And don't tell Merlot about my job. Because you're not a waitress. Yes. I don't want to talk to him about such a dirty job. Maybe he suspects something, but it's too early for him to know. Nothing turned out how I wanted it. You had a dream in time gone by? Rylith gave a sad smile, kicking out a small stone on the ground. I don't know who his father is. It wasn't the man you were exiled with. No, he disappeared soon after we arrived. Oh, interesting. That's kind of what I assumed. Huh. So you really have nothing from that guy anymore. There isn't much a woman can do to earn money in the Sanctuary District. I couldn't find anything except selling myself. He was born afterwards. It's so sad that he won't know who the father is. But he's all I have. He's the only one who stays with me. Rylith. Living alone as a woman is hard here. Even if I work from dusk till dawn, I can't buy us anything but basic food. But if I want to survive, I have to do it. I have to use what I have and eke out a living. That's the world you will live in now. That's the Sanctuary District.
Rylith ran her hand over my head. Then she began to walk home.
Let's go back. I have to get up early tomorrow.
Okay. Rylith walked a few steps in front of me. She seemed taller and nobler to me after I had heard her story. She does whatever she must to support what's important to her. I felt like I couldn't forgive myself for giving her more to worry about. I wanted to look after myself. Wanting it isn't enough to make it happen. I have to think about what I can do to live here. I touched the pendant at my neck and followed Rylith. What are we gonna do? Morning arrived. After breakfast was done, I decided it was time to go looking for work. Rylith told me that it's hard to find a job as a woman. Nevertheless, I had to search until I found one. I didn't want to sell myself. I remembered her words from the night before. I have to use what I have and eke out a living. What do I have? I'm good with a sword. Maybe there was a job that required me to use a sword. As I made preparations to leave, I heard small footsteps approaching.
Miss, where are you going? Can I come with you?
You want to come? I'm not going out there to have fun. I saw his wide-eyed curiosity and found it hard to say no. Rylith patted Merlot on the head.
I think she's going to be busy. Do you want to spend some time with me today?
Merlot looked between me and her and smiled.
Okay, bye, miss.
Yep, see you later. Thanks, Rylith. I'm glad Rylith did that. Thinking about how I wanted to become as considerate as she was, I looked up at the sky. It was as gray as always, hiding my old home from view with ashen clouds. One day I'll go back. Standing and staring wasn't going to get me there. I had to look forward, not up. The past couldn't help me. I had to live if I wanted a future. You got this, girl. Sorry, we've got enough people. Good luck elsewhere. I see. Thanks. How many did I try already? I'd gone to the market searching for work, but hadn't found anything so far. I'm glad when they just hear me out. I'd lost count of how many rejections I'd had, and that wasn't even counting the ones who'd shooed me off immediately. I didn't have to do this in the Heights. The two areas were radically different. I knew that comparing them all the time was counterproductive, but my mind kept on doing it. If you wanted to be a police officer or any other kind of public job, you had to go to the temple first. The temple posted application deadlines and examination dates, and if you passed those and the interviews went well, you had the job. Not everyone who wanted a job ended up with it, of course, but if you aimed within your limits, you rarely failed. I'd never heard of anyone being unable to find any job whatsoever. It was an alien idea to me. The children studied, the adults worked. That's what I was taught. I was reminded once more of the blessing my upbringing had been. What if they just sent people that failed to the depths, though? That's why you never heard about it. I'm hungry. I've been walking for hours. I didn't feel particularly exhausted, but the emptiness in my stomach was starting to hurt. Hunger and thirst were a problem. They made me slower mentally and physically as well. I want to head back, but it feels so futile to do so without results. My options were narrowing. I'd scoured the entire area. I suppose I just have to look further afield. In the distance, I could see a queue of people lined up. What are they doing? I was still on my quest for a job, but my curiosity got the better of me. I should take a look. A long line had formed in front of a Hounds building. It wasn't the large headquarters I had visited as a police officer, but a smaller outpost. The people had formed an orderly queue. Oh my goodness. The people had formed an orderly queue in front of it. Good grief. I couldn't read because I was so busy looking at these giant cauldrons. I'm like, is this where they hand out your food supply? I wonder what they're waiting for. I approached and looked past the throng of people. Are those rations? One by one, the people received goods. I saw canned food, bread, that kind of thing. I see. They're not just watching them, I guess. I wonder if I have the right to a ration, too. But you probably need money? Maybe you get, like, a basic ration, but if you have money, you can get better rations. There were people of all ages and genders in the queue. Their clothes were shabby. I strongly suspected they were residents of the Sanctuary District. I should queue up as...
You! Don't disrupt the queue, asshole!
One of the Hounds dragged a man out of queue. He'd done absolutely nothing.
What? I'm giving you an order. To the back of the queue, now.
But I didn't... I've been queuing up since dawn.
Like I care. Queue up if you want your food.
The man stumbled to the end of the line. The others gave him looks of pity. But none of them attempted to help him. They were afraid the same fate would befall them. That's horrible. I couldn't bear to see the behavior of the Hounds or the misery of their subjects. Even if I'll suffer, I don't want the Hounds to carry me through this. I decided to leave, carried by the pride I couldn't shake. You can take your rations and stuff them. I was beginning to feel dizzy. I chalked it up to my painfully empty stomach. I ate well this morning. Why am I already in such bad shape? Maybe it has to do with the medicine you have to take for a living down here? Scolding myself was pointless, though. I wanted something, anything in my mouth. Even through the cloudy sky, the sun seemed excessively bright. The voices around me were painfully loud. This is bad. I'm getting confused. I went into a side street, hoping to catch my breath. The stink was revolting, but it was much quieter than it was on the main street. I leaned against a wall and breathed deeply. I wish I could find some food somewhere. One should not eat food lying around, but even that was beginning to sound attractive. If there had been food on the ground in front of me then, I would have been tempted to eat it. I'd rather not do that. Water? I strained my ears. It was faint, but I could hear the sound of flowing water. As soon as I realized that, my thirst took immediate control of me. Something to drink would be fine for the time being. I just needed one gulp, something to drink, anything in my mouth, anything in my stomach. My urge to drink grew irresistibly. Ah, there it is. The stream followed the walls of the buildings. It was too shallow to even scoop up by hand. I had to bring it to my mouth some other way. The water was visibly murky. I hesitated to touch it. But the times were too desperate to be picky. I had to do something. I have to change myself if I want to survive. I steeled myself and went down on my knees. Will someone warn you? My mind rejected my body's desire for this water. I didn't want to touch it, much less drink it. No, I have to drink it. Wasn't I starving? Didn't I want to fill my empty stomach? Don't worry. Nobody's watching. You just have to take one gulp and that's it. Close my eyes. I slowly leaned forwards and brought my mouth closer to the dirty stream. Thank you, whoever that is.
Don't drink that. You'll wreck your stomach.
Oh! Hello! I looked up and saw a boyish-looking man standing right in front of me. It startled me so much that I fell backwards, sitting down hard.
Don't be so jumpy. Huh.
He stood up.
Are you stupid? If you drink that, you'll definitely get sick.
He retrieved a small water skin from his bag and offered it to me. Well, that's very kind. Is that... It had been made from the stomach of some animal I couldn't identify. The skin was small enough to fit comfortably into someone's hand, and the opening was closed tight.
Water. You're thirsty, right? You can have mine.
Yours. I mean... Yeah, thank you. Oh! I gotta look at this. Status. Ulrich. Okay. Alright, alright. I think you're boy number 2, if I'm not mistaken. Thank you. I took the water skin from him, and his eyebrows twitched ever so slightly.
Huh, I didn't expect that. I thought you'd be a tougher nut to crack.
Tougher nut?
Yeah, I thought you'd grumble or suspect me of foul play.
I mean, I did have those options, but I'm kind of desperate here, man. Perhaps I would have if I weren't in mortal danger. The water skin was heavy. It was only after I opened the lid that another thought occurred to me. Who are you? Why are you helping me?
My name's Ulrich. The water skin is an investment, that's all.
An investment?
Yes. You don't know me, but I know you quite well.
That pose is doing things to me. Ulrich gave me a cunning smile, his voice taking on a sing-song timbre.
Your name is Cyrus de Stella. You were born in the Heights. You used to be a rank 1 police officer, and you were sent here once on an observation mission. Right?
Why do you know that?
Why? When you were here on your observation, you clashed with the Hounds, didn't you? Drew a sword? Fighting with a sword is way behind the times, you know. It's hard to even call those dumbsticks an anachronism anymore. Guns are where it's at these days. If you learn to shoot, even women can deal solid damage.
Who is this guy? I drank his water as I listened. I couldn't ignore his jabs, though. Apologies for being behind the times.
Huh? Did I badmouth your swords? Don't assume my meaning. Anyway, my client is interested in you and would like to hire you.
What?
You're looking for work, right? This should be perfect.
My answer's no.
What? Why? Actually, why won't you even hear me out?
No way. This is super suspicious. Besides, how do you know that I'm looking for work? Huh? It happened in an instant. I looked away for the briefest moment and Ulrich vanished. What just happened? Sneaky boy.
Who do you work for?
How long have you been following me? I looked all around me, even up at the rooftops. He was completely gone. I couldn't even hear footsteps. Did I dream that? Had I fallen asleep in broad daylight? Feeling nervous, I looked down. I was still holding the rather heavy water skin. It must have happened if I still have this. That led me back to my original question. Where had he disappeared to? It was as if the earth had swallowed him. Ulrich, huh? What a strange guy. I was just grateful that my thirst had been quenched. I was irritated by Ulrich's sudden exit, though. I tied the water skin to my hip, unable to thank its owner for the loan. Have I met everybody yet? I might be missing one person. It's gotten dark. I tried for a while longer to find work, but without any success. When I'd set out, I'd been willing to do anything I was able to do, but nobody I approached seemed to need anyone.
You say that, but the one offer of work you had, which involved sword fighting, you're like, nah. Immediate rejection.
Nobody I approached seemed to need anyone. I'm losing faith. I knew that feeling so disheartened when it was only the end of my first day was silly, but every rejection hurt. I'm tired, but I need to keep going. I decided to try 3 more people. I pushed my negativity away for the time being.
Help! Someone!
What was that? I turned and saw a woman cowering on the ground. A man was fleeing the scene at top speed. Well, this is familiar.
A purse snatcher!
My police officer instincts awakened, and I ran after him immediately. Weaving through the crowd, I kept all my focus on my quarry. He didn't try to veer off the main road as I chased him, which meant fewer obstacles for us to avoid. Is he hoping to simply outpace me? I was confident I could track him. He wasn't getting away. Slowly but steadily, I drew close enough to strike. From a low crouch, I launched myself at him. Ha! Just when he turned around, I slammed into his back.
Ah!
We rolled over the ground.
Good, now I have to pin him.
Before the man could stand up again, I put my knee on his back.
Go away! Leave me the fuck alone!
I took the pouch he had stolen from his hand. Anything else you stole?
Nothing! That's all!
All right. I led the man over to the woman.
You've got it, right? What more do you want?
I can't tell if that's everything you took. Over there.
Yes. That's everything. Thank you for bringing it back to me.
See? She's got it back, you dumb broad.
Thieves don't get to talk back. I untied his hands and he glared at me.
Shit. I'll remember this.
I'd heard that a lot as a police officer and ignored him.
Good grief.
You're okay, right? Are you hurt?
I'm fine. Thank you so much.
The woman gripped her pouch with both hands. It must be important to you.
Yes, my son made this for me before he died. I have to thank you.
It's fine. Always faithful. We serve the... Whoops. I'm no longer a police officer. I stopped myself. The woman pressed some coins into my hand.
I got paid.
What is this?
Money. It's not much, but I want to say thank you.
Saying her goodbyes, the woman left. The excitement had worn off for the crowds around me as well. Man, the Hounds really don't do much with this maintaining order nonsense. Odd. This is the money they use in the depths, huh? I looked at the coins in my palm. They were made of a metal I couldn't immediately identify. The face of a woman in profile was engraved on one side and numbers on the other. What surprised me most was that money was used in the depths at all, right? Perhaps it was obvious, but I'd been brought up thinking that the depths were too barbaric and simple for a currency-based economy, so it was something of a shock. Well, that and it's supposed to be a prison, so why would they need money? I have no idea how much this is worth, though. I decided to give the coins to Rylith. With any luck, they were enough to help with daily necessities. I didn't find a job, but I earned some money. That's a better start than it could have been. Alright, time to go back. I mean, that's something. Night had fallen by the time I made it back to the street they lived on. I hope Merlot and Rylith aren't worried. I remembered my small windfall of money and smiled, knowing it would cheer them up too. I didn't know how much the coins were worth. But even if it wasn't much, it would probably still be a bit of help. I hope they'll accept them. I'm back! Rylith, Merlot. I opened the door with enthusiasm. Yeah. How did I know?
Hi. You're late.
Hounds! There were 3 hounds in the room. No, 2 more behind me. I'm surrounded. I looked around. Where are they?
Don't worry. They're safe for now. If you don't want to see them killed, do as we say.
One of the men behind me gave me a hard push. What do you want?
Don't tell me you forgot. You dared to hit me last night.
Ah. Last night? What, that was you who attacked Rylith?
Be careful what you say.
Unbelievable. How could someone attached to the temple attack the people? I mean, I figured it had to be one of the hounds if he had a sword on him.
The people? Ha 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 ha! That's funny. These lowlifes in the Sanctuary District aren't part of the people. They're criminals, the scum of the earth. We decide what we do with them. That goes for you, too.
You're the one who ought to be punished. How dare you lay a hand on the weak, you pitiful man?
You stupid bitch. Hey, that's enough. I want her to be able to walk to HQ. I'm not carrying her. Fine.
Carry me?
You're going to be punished for attacking the Hounds. Don't resist. It's pointless.
Like I'd ever go with you willingly.
If you don't, we'll kill the woman and the kid.
All right. But swear to me you won't harm them.
Sure, whatever. We won't harm them for now. Now let's go.
Great.
Why the fuck do we need so many men to catch a woman? Because she's violent. You should know that better than anyone, right? Sure, but this is such a pain in the ass. She's kinda hot if you ask me, though. And young. She looks like a lot more fun than the women at the bar. Hey, how about it? Wanna be my woman? I'll make it so all this is forgotten. You'll love it.
Your woman? Even if I wasn't exactly sure what he was offering, I knew I didn't want to be anyone's possession. Oh, Cyrus. So innocent. I refuse. I didn't understand his proposition, but I knew he was the one who'd hit Rylith. Only a dim-witted coward would strike a mother.
What did you say?
Enraged, he gave me a hard shove. It wasn't a particularly strong jolt, but my stomach was empty, and so I stumbled.
Huh. Wow, money. That's some nice stuff you got.
Give it back!
No, I found it, and now it's mine. I'll spend it well. The commander said we're supposed to bring you back alive. He didn't say unhurt. How about I get what you stopped me getting yesterday?
What? I tried to stand up, but a different man held me down by my feet. No matter how I struggled, I couldn't free myself. Then the shadow of the man fell over me.
The way you struggle. Are you a virgin? Ha ha ha. That's perfect. That's enough. The hell are you?
Yay, Inez! Thank you so much. Oh, like if I ever needed a white knight right now.
Ines Heinrich Heine, your superior. Vice Commander! I'll listen to it later. Untie her and step away. But the commander told us to bring her. Sox did. Alright, but that doesn't explain why you pinned her down. Stop the aimless violence. She's a criminal! What does it matter? Don't abuse a defenseless woman. They will laugh at us behind our backs and say we can't go for anyone but the weak.
Sir Inez turned his gaze to me and told me to stand up. My joints creaked and I had to steady myself against the wall.
You're not lying when you say that Sox told you to bring her. No. He told us to bring her in for a medical and put her in isolation cell 3.
All right. I'll bring her in. Any objections?
There was silence. Sir Inez looked at the hounds and nodded.
Then go back to your posts. Away with you.
The others dispersed immediately. In less than a minute, we were alone. Thank you for rescuing me, Sir Inez.
Don't get the wrong idea. I'll still escort you to your cell. I have no idea why it's even coming to this.
Well, you see...
Stop. I don't want to know. I'll obey Sox's command and bring you in. That's all I need to know.
I see. Still, let me thank you. I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't come. I wonder what the men wanted to do with me. I truly didn't know, but I did know it was nothing good. Thank you.
You're an odd one. You're being taken to a cell. You know that, right?
Shrugging off his confusion, Sir Inez took out a rope used to restrain prisoners.
The rules say that if I bring you in on my own, I have to tie your hands. All right?
We're both odd ones, Sir Inez. There's no need to ask me if you have to do it anyway. I put my arms behind my back to make it easier for him to tie them.
There is truth to that.
His movements were a little clumsy. I could feel the rope chafing at my skin. It was an unfamiliar pressure.
Let's go. Just walk straight.
Roger that. When I was still a police officer, I was the one restraining people. Does he recognize you? I felt a wave of dismay and let Sir Inez direct my walking. We were going straight towards the headquarters of the Hounds, the place the people in the Sanctuary District feared most.
Glissade. Oh, Sir Inez. And that's...
Good evening.
Hello. Why was I called in so late? Never mind. I know why I'm here.
Glissade stood up and read through some papers on his desk.
It says here that Soxon ordered a medical. I didn't expect you to bring her in, though. Merely a coincidence. Pay it no heed.
Glissade gestured towards a chair and I sat down.
There are scratches on your cheek. What happened?
There was some shoving.
I see. Still as enthusiastic as ever.
Glissade coated a gauze with some kind of disinfectant and pressed it to my cheek. I winced.
You won't last if that kind of pain is enough for you, right? Perhaps, yes.
What do you mean, Sir Inez?
I don't know what Sox is planning, but usually when someone is put in solitary confinement, they're there to be punished. I would assume the same goes for you.
Punished? But why?
You don't know why?
I protected a woman from a violent member of the Hounds yesterday. At the time, that had seemed like the correct course of action. I only made it harder for Rylith, and I was captured as well. Are you saying I shouldn't have protected her? Should I have just ignored her?
I understand how you feel, but rules are rules. What you learned is right and just in the Heights doesn't apply here. The Hounds set the rules here. If you resist, you are punished. That's all there is.
But...
Now. Here, drink this. It will calm you down.
Glissade gave me some water and a pained smile. Thank you. I drank all of it. It didn't calm me down. Lies.
Do you want to live a long life, or do you want to die young?
Glissade.
I can rephrase that. Do you want to die peacefully, or in horrible pain? The rule of the Hounds is absolute here in the Sanctuary District. Obey the powers that be, and don't dwell on it too much. You'll find that life isn't all that harsh.
Perhaps, but it's hard to accept that. This may not be the Heights, but the Hounds are still a part of the temple. They are supposed to serve the people. I can't accept their unjust and arbitrary violence.
I'm incredulous that you can say that while I'm listening. I'm the Vice Commander.
Oh.
Let's ignore what you want for now. I don't want you to die, alright? I hate autopsies on young people. She's a little malnourished, but that's all. She passes. Alright, come on.
He thumped my shoulder and I stood up. Thank you, Glissade.
Take care. I pray that you make it out of solitary confinement alive.
Thanks.
Hopefully Soxon won't go overboard.